Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special Big Brother 18 post-season interview show with Glenn. We have so much to talk about. We are so excited, but first, let me let you guys know if you are watching this back in YouTube, you can click on these buttons, thumbs up and subscribe, iTunes 5-star rating, and a nice review. If you want to watch any of these shows back, you can over at yourrealityrecaps.com/BB18, or if you want to see our spoiler shows /BB18 spoilers. Flashback times are over at /BB18 flashbacks, and 24/7 live feed updates over on Twitter are at BB18 feed updates. Last three things that you will have to do. I'm gonna die if you don't do that. Alright, sure, this one. yourrealityrecaps.com/feeds. If you don't have the feeds, a great way to support our show. yourrealityrecaps.com/patron is the best way to support our shows. You get access to the patron-only Facebook group, shows weekly just for patrons, prize giveaways for patrons, your shows, and questions asked to reality stars. Yes, you can do a one-time donation at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal. And for real, lastly, there's only 9 days left, guys. yourrealityrecaps.com/Amazon video. I'll beg and grovel. I'm begging and groveling. yourrealityrecaps.com/Amazon video. Check it out. It only takes 3 minutes for you guys to do. It will help us keep bringing you these shows for the rest of the year. That being said, let's get to the person you all want to hear from. It's Glenn! How you doing, Glenn?
What's up, people? How are you?
Glenn, are you feeling stormy or rainy?
Oh my God, if I get any more questions about that, the East Coast storm, raining, groomed cats and dogs, I'll die.
How many inches of fur was there, Glenn?
Oh, it should be about 2 feet of it, but it shouldn't be, it should be a lot of SHIT instead of that.
Oh, really? Is that a problem when dog grooming?
Yeah, a lot.
It
sounds like it's so much nicer than what it is, and it's a lot of really nasty dogs that you have to take care of.
What is the worst type of dog for you to groom?
There's nothing worse, really, just a dog that's not well maintained and not taken care of. And then they give you the dog and they give you a picture and say, well, I want my dog to look like this. And I'm like, I can't make a Volkswagen into a Ferrari. I'm like, pretty much got to just strip the dog and take everything off and start from scratch.
Now, if you had visual, which, spoiler alert everyone, Glenn does not have visual this show. However, I would show you the picture of my precious little angel. That's Alasha Opso, and you could tell me how adorable he is.
Next time I see it. They gotta be cute, though. I'm pretty sure you take care of your dog.
I do. He looks like a little teddy bear. Now, I want to let everyone know, if you guys have questions for Glenn, you can leave them in the chat room, or you can tweet me them with hashtag YRRLive. But Glenn, I want to kind of start here. You have a legacy almost in Big Brother. Not almost. You do. You and Jody, I feel bad saying it, but got to play the game, but didn't really get to play the game.
Yes. I almost feel Jody's pain, but in some things I got to do that she didn't get to do, and she got to do things that I didn't get to do. Like, I never got an exit. I never got to meet Julie. I never got anything. They gave me the left door and gave me a kick in the boot and said, see you later. But I got a chance to battle back, and she didn't have that. So we're almost on the same page.
No Julie at all? You weren't, like, scurrying around the parking lot, calling, like, Julie? Wait, no?
Nope.
That's sad.
Took me out, blindfolded me, and I was out.
Oh, Julie. Come on, Julie.
Yep. So hopefully she's watching. Season finale. Shake my hand, give me a kiss. Show New Yorker some love.
Oh, Glenn, Julie's not watching this show.
You
You
never know.
Yeah, you never know. Arissa's watching it. We could probably get you on Big Brother Canada. So what was it like, though, being a super fan? Getting to be there, to play these competitions, to see, I guess let's start with the coaches. Nicole, James, Frank, and Devon. Were you happy to see these players? Were these players that you liked as a super fan?
I was not a fan. I was not a fan of vets. I was really aggravated. If you see my face on stage when we first got to see each other. And Julie says, okay, turn around and look at each other. See who your house is. All I was doing, I wasn't looking at their faces. I was counting people. I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And right away, as soon as I saw 12, I knew I was jerked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into the house. So many people in the house had no idea of the game, which I thought was great, but also bad because Michelle was the only other one that I was talking to that knew the game. And I kept telling everybody, they're bringing back 4 vets. They're bringing back 4 vets. I told Paul. I told Jose. I was telling everybody, yeah, you think, Glenn? You think? They had no clue. No clue.
Now, go ahead.
I was aggravated because I knew that was going to happen. And then right away I was thinking about what happened with Jody. I said, oh, here we go.
Were you I know you didn't like the vet twist, but as far as vets go, were those players who you enjoyed on their season? So let's start with Frank. Were you a Frank fan?
Frank was okay. Frank, I kind of liked in his series. He was pretty good. The rest of them, I really didn't care for. I didn't. And, they were all right. Nicole was just always, showman stuff. James, to me, he was like a goofball. Didn't really do nothing for me. And Davon, she was out pretty quick too, so I didn't get to know too much about her. But I also knew she had a big mouth, and I thought, But I could have taken them and leaving them. Didn't really matter.
Now, I think one of the number one questions that we have gotten for you, Glenn, is if you would have stayed in the house and if you wouldn't have been forced into teams, basically, who would you have wanted to work with this season going through?
Well, when I first got in, I was already working it. As soon as I got in, we was working it. We were talking to people. There's a lot of stuff that people don't see. When it's edited in a certain way and you don't see. I already had formed a kind of we call it the Pinky Promise, and it was already a group of 6 of us that we were already pretty in tight. Mm-hmm. It was me, Jose, Paul, Victor, Ronte, and Natalie. And we were already clicked up, and we were already going through motions and what to do next and planning as my team that sucked kept going down and we kept losing. When it came to the final one, we already knew I was taking HOH if I won, and we already had a plan to start Xing out the vets. So I had a click, and I was doing good with these people.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us, here's what a lot of us want. I want to see, and I don't know if we can make this happen, who we need to tweet if we need to make a petition. I want to see you and Jody on this fall edition.
I'm down, man.
I'm Big Brother.
I feel cheated that I didn't get to play the game that I signed up for. When I was out, I finally, when I got to open my mouth a little bit, I said, something, if I didn't apply for the Amazing Race. I didn't apply for a show that had teams. I came on because Big Brother's a social game, individual, game being an individual, and I got robbed that chance by putting me in a team. I would have never, ever even applied if I knew they were going to do this.
Well, but Glenn, super fan, you know the catchphrase.
I hate it, too.
I hate it as well. Expect the unexpected.
I hate it. I hate it. It kills me.
It is. But look, I think CBS needs some sort of a twist, in my opinion, for this online season starting next month. And I'm just saying, what would be a better twist than bringing back people that we all know, you, Jody, who we all want to see have a chance play this game? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I would love the phone call. Who knows if they were to tell me something when I go back for the finale. I don't know. I still feel I want to play the game. It's what I want. It's what I love, and I feel like I got robbed by it. And it just bothers me. There's not much more I can say or do. But.
Right. Let's jump back to last week, because Wild Lisa in the chat room wants to know, what did you think of the Zingbot's zings, Glenn?
He sucked. He should have been a lot harder. He should have been a lot more breath. The only one he had good maybe was Nicole, and that was it. Well, the other ones weren't even. Like, zing is supposed to zing. It's supposed to make them turn beet red, make them really feel, embarrassed, and then, give it to them hard. To me, it wasn't even that hard.
So I feel like you could probably speak on this from an opinion standpoint, an opinion as a fan, because you mentioned the Nicole zing. There's a lot of talk on the internet where people say they don't feel like that zing was fair, in the sense that it made her look weak to other players. Or let's say it was a personal zing that could maybe make other players not think of her as so threatening in the game. Do you feel that way or not so much?
Oh, no, I don't feel that way. I felt she got what she deserved, but it's just that Zing didn't do the right thing on the other people. So,
right.
She's only repeating what she did in her season. She's not showing anything different. She goes in, she locks up with a dude, and that's it. That's her gameplay.
It is her gameplay. What would your zing have been? Do you know what the Zingbot would have zinged you about, Glenn?
Maybe about being a little bit on the husky side or being a little bit. You know what bothers me about that? I work out and I'm strong, and the TV definitely makes you look a lot bigger than what you really are. But I'm not saying I'm no slim trim like these other guys, which one. But the game, they don't tell you when you're going through the process. They never tell you if you got in or not. And that's what annoyed me. Like, I was waiting I thought I was going to get that call saying, all right, you got it, and you're going to go. And I would have been training for it, and I would have done cardio, and I would have, really got myself prepared. But, I know, shame on me. I shouldn't, I should have been ready for anything. But, that's the only thing that bothers me, because I'm not that big. And people make comments about it, which I really don't care. But, I'm a normal guy. I'm a regular guy. I'm an everyday blue-collar guy. So that's the difference between me and the rest of the cast.
Now, I think you maybe misheard me. I wasn't saying what did Michelle think of you, or what would Michelle's zing be for you. I was saying what would Zingbot's zing be for you. And of course I'm kidding. I want to know, you obviously watched all the episodes back. What are your thoughts on Michelle? And how she doesn't like mayo or fat people?
Yeah, she's
young.
Yeah, she's just, dumb. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't get her. She was on my team. I was there for 3 days. I didn't even know, right away she was latching on with the guys, and she was always worried. And I was, oh my God, I'm going to go home. She was a little whiny and all that. So I just distanced myself from her for a little while because she was annoying. Right. I'm in New York. I would have told her she was annoying. I told a few people in there things that they might not like to hear in the little time I was there, but that's who I am, and that's what you would have seen on the show if I stayed on the show.
Ooh, we'll have to play a game later where Glenn tells us things about people. Just first thoughts or impressions. We'll call it First Impressions game. But let me ask you this. Lisa Nova in the chat room wants to know, are you watching the feeds, Glenn?
I watch when I can. You got to remember I'm a dad, and I'm trying to make up from lost time from not being around. So I do record some of the After Dark, and I do get on the feeds when I can, but I'm not 100% in them like I should be. I do catch up a lot on Twitter, but I try to watch as much as possible.
A few people I see want to know, Anna Y, Michelle, want to know, who do you think has the best chance to win right now in the house?
I got to go with my man Paulie. I mean, Paul.
Really?
Paul, to me, a lot of people, Paul's a great guy, man. And Paul's got he's got a really, really good game plan. He's very smart. A lot of people don't get this. And that's who I think. I think Paul's got a good shot. He just got to keep it going the way he's going and wiggle in and out of, the diversions and everything. And I think he has a chance. He's a really good game player.
Well, I don't know. Things are not looking good for Paul at the moment, but
it didn't look good for him the other night either, right?
That's true, and Paul has a great ability to flip things around. We'll talk a little bit more spoilers when we get towards the end, in case anybody doesn't want to hear spoilers. New Jersey Girl wants to know, she's our nemesis, being from New Jersey, Glenn. How hard was it to be eliminated so quickly and then have to wait for your chance to battle back? Was it hard to mentally prepare yourself?
Mentally, I was ready for the game, whichever which way it was going to happen. It was hard being the first one out, let alone being the first one out, but let alone being out that fast. Mm-hmm. Killed me because I was like, It is. It's devastating. It takes a little while for it to sink in and for you to come. I'm not a sore loser either. Like a lot of people have tweeted and stuff. What are you, just a sore loser? You're salty. No, it's not like that. If I would have played the game, had the opportunity to play the game the way the game was supposed to be played, I would have shook my hand and said, "You're a better person than me. Good kudos on you, and you won." But it's like they didn't even give me a chance to play the game. That's what irks me.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would, as a fan of the game, and I think everybody in this chat room, I think everyone that are Glenn fans are fans of the game, so I think we can all relate on that level with you, that it would suck to be such a huge fan of the game and not get
what's funny is that, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What's funny is that I was only in there for a short period of time. As soon as I got in, I was already working it. I was working people. I was working in angles. I had my game plan already, and it was really working because I was really, I don't know, they don't really show it there, but I was really, really liked in the house in the short time I was there. If you saw when they told me that I lost to Corey and I was leaving, there was a bunch of them crying, and I was like even shocked that I touched these people on that kind of a level because I was just being me. And some people saw me as the kidder, the jokester. Some of them were looking at me as Papa G. They started calling me because I was the oldest dude there, and I was connected with people in a lot of different ways, and that made me really feel good. So that lessened the blow a little bit when I was leaving because I got a lot of love when I left.
That damn Nicole. Nicole.
That team sucked. Did that team not suck? Let me tell you something. We had the blocks. We should have won that game. And Nicole and Tiffany, and then the puzzle. We're puzzle masters. We'll take care of this. So I said, I'm not a good puzzle master. You know what? I'll pick up the blocks and I'll put them there. You guys put it together. I do what I had to do. I look around. I'm like, that's wrong and that's wrong. No, Glenn, that's not the way it is. And I'm like, this is wrong and this is wrong. I'm telling Corey, look at this. He's yes to me, but you know how he is on the show with his crazy eyes. I'm like, open your mouth, dude. Let's do this. At the end, then he opens his mouth. The team sucked. The team concept sucked. And that's my problem.
Well, you know what doesn't suck, Glenn? Coconuts. And I forgot to say at the beginning of this show that the #1 fan is going to win an autographed coconut from Glenn. Kind of sort of like from the coconut competition. So
I wish I had $1 for everybody that calls me Glenn Coco now.
You getting for everyone that calls you what?
Glenn Coco?
Oh, well, how rich would you be?
Forget it. Everybody, Glenn Coco. I'm like, oh my God, this damn coconuts.
Interesting. Ski Fox wants to know in the chat room, who is your favorite former house guest? We'll start there. Who is your favorite former house guest from any season you want?
I loved Evil Dick. I loved Dr. Will.
Okay, there.
I liked because they all had different types of ways they played the game, and I was kind of like, I liked the aspects of each one of them. I liked Dan, Janelle, great fan of Janelle. Dan was great. Derek was great. There's a few.
I'm with you on Derek, Will, and Janelle.
I know the other guy you're not happy about, but I liked the fact that he just didn't give a.
In the game, Evil Dick was great. I loved Evil Dick in the game.
In the game, I don't know him on a personal level. I don't know him outside of it, but in the game, it was good. And there was times that I said there was things I was going to do when I was going through my process that, for instance, if I knew I was going out and there was no way for me to flip it around and make things up, I was going to make their lives miserable when I was in there. And that's something that he did.
You think? Because I think everybody thinks that going in, but then they make bonds with these people, and even if you don't really like them, you kind of feel like, I don't want to be that mean.
No, I think I was going to be, because I was in there. I'm the only guy that was in there to win the money and play the game. Everybody else is in there for a different alternative. Who wants to be a model? Who wants to be noticed? Who wants to be an actor? Glenn, why are you on Big Brother? To win the money. That's what I was doing. Every interview I went to, I'm there to play the game and win the money. I got plenty of friends. They're not my friends, so what? That was my attitude.
Yeah, and those are the people that I want to see play the game. I want to see the people play the game who go in there with that, mentality. Sun Angel wants to know, what are your thoughts about fellow New Yorker, technically New Jersey, Paulie's behavior this season?
It wasn't too cool, man. I know him on a personal level, and I know he's pretty. And he seemed like a really good dude for the short time I was in there. But listen, I also have a daughter, and I have a wife, and I have a mother. You don't treat girls like, especially if you're on TV, dude. Like, not cool at all, man. What you do in your private life and what you do, you keep it on a low key. I'm an old school guy. You don't treat girls like that. I wasn't down with that.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you. Knowing him personally, the thing I keep saying to everyone is that Paulie in the house is not the Paulie I've ever known before this game. So I'm hoping he's going to come out and do an apology tour and explain everything.
Yeah, it wasn't, sometimes I guess you can forget sometimes. Like, I'll be honest with you, people always ask me, they say, listen, when you're in the house, Glenn, like, how'd you feel about all the cameras and all that? Be honest with you, you forget a lot. Like, I forgot a lot of times that the cameras were on. Like, I was told by Paul even had to, like, remind me, like, coming out of the shower, if this just dude's around, like, sometimes I would just come out and be like, dude, you got to put the shower on right away. And I'm like, oh, like, I would forget. And thank God the live feeds weren't on that early in the game. But I forgot. It didn't have no bearing on me at all. So, maybe sometimes some of these people with their emotions, they just forget that they're on TV so much and the cameras are everywhere, and they just mess up,
Right. I think maybe the silver lining, if we have to find one, Glenn, is that your children didn't have to see their dad naked all over the internet, apparently, exactly. If you made it longer on the show. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it is what it is. But, I mean, his behavior is, inexcusable. Sometimes you think it's even pre-done. Like, I was thinking, he can't be that dumb. Maybe he's doing it on purpose. Said, when he cried, I did it on purpose. That I don't believe. But, who knows? Everybody has a different game plan, and everybody else does things differently. So, I could only attest to the short time I was there and what I went through and how bad I wanted to stay in this game.
David Thielen in the chat room has a very serious question for you, Glenn. Yeah. He would like to know, did Frank ever pop you on the butt?
No, and we slept next to each other. It was me. Well, the now bed that Corey and Nicole, that was my bed. It was me, Paul, and Frank on the other side. And Frank, I was gunning for the vets, so I really wasn't being friending him too much. But Frank was a pretty good guy, and we would sit and talk a lot. But he was a good guy. He knows better not to touch my butt.
Lady222 in the chat room wants to know, being a super fan, what are your thoughts on all of these showmances this season?
In the beginning, if I was still playing the game, or how are you asking it?
How about, now, what is your thoughts of these showmances in the house right now?
That they're idiots, because one of the couples is always the floater and the other one's the more stronger person. So I could get it. That's an extra vote for you, which is why I don't understand why Paulie got rid of Z, because that's a guaranteed vote for him. But I'm not into the showmances. I think it's a target, or it's always, if it's against you. If it's with you, it's fine, because that's 2 extra votes going your way. But if you're in the game like I would have been trying to break up the showmances. If it wasn't for my game, better interest, I would have tried to break them up. But because I want to go one-on-one with everybody. I don't want to be having to look at 2 deuces here and there and everywhere. Right. So I'm not crazy about it. Yeah.
Kennedy's Wing and Conquer Thyroid Issues want to know, who were you the closest with in the house?
In the very beginning, it had to be Paul and probably Jose and Victor. 3 of those.
Well, you got 2 of that. Then maybe you would have still be in there. I mean,
Paul, me and him clicked right away, man. He was a genuine guy. We just had a lot in common. We would sit and talk. Like, when we opened up the first toast, me and him did all the champagne. Me and him downed everything together. And we just sat there and BS'd about everything. Vic came by. He was a really good guy. and then Jose. Jose was just funny, and we just clicked, and we had a good little click going, you know. So those were the guys that I was closest to in the beginning.
Alex R. in the chat room wants to know if you had stayed and you had become HOH, who would your target have been that first week, and what two people would you have put up?
It was the plan, the whole game plan already was, which Corey and Tiffany never followed through, because I even felt good for my team, because I said even though I got bounced out, I knew that they were going to be on the ball, because any newbie was supposed to take out a vet, and I was down with that plan, and I hated the vet. So since Victor's team won, that means James was safe. So I was going after, it was going to be Devon and Frank.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I mean, I personally would have wished it was Nicole and James, but
she was on my team, so I couldn't.
True.
She was on my team, right. And our team, whoever the HOH was on, everybody else in the team was safe, so I couldn't. I would have loved to put Nicole and James up. That's what I would have loved to put up. But
I have such a horrible memory. So teams lasted only that first like week of the game was the whole team twist, right? Or no?
Oh, the teams were together for I think 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
And then we started Roadkill.
Yes. Well, no, Roadkill even when the teams were.
Seems like a lifetime ago, Glenn. Yeah. It literally seems like a lifetime ago. Yep. Yeah, that's right. We all hated the team twist. God, yeah. It literally feels like another season at this point.
I watch it now, and I can't believe I was even in the house. What kills me is I watch the feeds or I watch it, and then when they're in the kitchen, when they're in the bathroom, I still see my toothbrush there. My toothbrush is still in the bowl, and I'm like, I forget I was even in the house, because the minute I lost the game and I got out, I couldn't even go back in the house. They picked up all my clothes and brought it to me.
Oh. Well, yeah, I want to ask you something about that, but I don't think we're allowed, so I'm going to move on. Lisa MLT in the chat room wants to know, who do you think will get America's favorite player this season?
I've been so wrong with this so far this whole year, so I really have no clue. I have no clue really right now. I don't even know.
Who will you vote for if you, and you're allowed to vote, so who will you vote for then?
So
I'm giving you 3 votes. You can put them wherever you want.
I don't even know. I don't know as far as the spoilers. I know who got veto. So veto person, could they still get it?
We're saying America's favorite player at the end of the season.
Oh, at the end.
At the end of the season, America's favorite player.
What do you think? I'm gonna shock America. I'm gonna be America's favorite player.
You can't pick you. You can't pick you. You can't pick you.
Why not?
Oh, I like it, Glenn. You're right. Why not? Why not? All right, there you go. It's Glenn. Glenn, America's favorite player. Listen, everybody, start voting now.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know when do the feeds when are we allowed to start voting for that? 'Cause I don't see it.
Boop-ba-da-boo. I feel like I want to say the week before finale. Like the week leading into finale, I feel like, is when we start voting. I'm sure the chat room will correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's when it is, the week before. So in like 3 weeks from now.
I say, and I ask for people to vote for me for American fan favorite, only because one, the game was taken away from me without even the chance of getting back in, and 2, to send a message to the people in CBS and the higher ups, whoever it can be, that game choice was pretty dumb, because if you're going to bring back 2 sets of people, what was the objective of getting rid of somebody so quick without even letting them play the game for a while? It didn't make sense. So, by people voting for me, and hopefully so far everybody that has come back has been a fan favorite, maybe that would give me the opportunity to get back, because I really want to get back.
All right, now don't shoot the messenger, Glenn, but I'm going to say this. From a production, technically working for Viacom position, it does ratings, Glenn. It does ratings. That's why they do it. But here's the thing, Glenn. Here's the thing. most people, like me, can't remember a lot of stuff about previous seasons. When the season is over, we have to like wipe our brains of it or else we move on. But you know who everybody remembers? Jody.
Yeah.
Jody. And now it's going to be Jody and Glenn. And you two, while it's not going to pay the bills, I think are locked into a piece of Big Brother history that, in a way, sets you apart from a ton of other people and will make you memorable, as opposed to people we're gonna forget in time.
It's true. But I would give that up in a heartbeat just to play the game. Even if I would have went out 2 weeks later, which I doubt I would have because my game plan was already working beautifully. I really wanted to play the game, man. Like I said, I'd rather have gotten voted out than to be eliminated from a challenge.
Right. Will you, Kanika Dodge in the chat room wants to know, will you participate in Big Brother events? So, for example, you know the New York City premiere party that happens each year that Adam does, or like charity events, stuff like that. Will you?
Definitely. I would love. I've gotten a lot of love on the streets. I've gotten a lot of love everywhere I've gone. People who do recognize me, which is flattering because I was only on the show for so long, and for them to come up and all tell me the same thing. Oh, you were Rob. We loved your personality. You were a normal guy. Like, I would definitely. So if there's people that do go to these things, what I'm hearing, I would definitely entertain and go to any event that I can, if it's within my reason and I can. And also with charities, you know, I was already reached out to by the JDRF, which is the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund, and my daughter's a type 1 diabetic. So they already reached out to me, and because I wanted to maybe get something that the whole cast could sign, and we could maybe auction it off, and whatever money we raise, donate it to juvenile diabetes. So anything for kids, I'm 100% in for it.
Love it. I totally love that. And let us know if you do that and how we can support. Maximus Mom in the chat room says, I blame Nicole for Glenn's demise. Everything is her fault.
Her and Tiffany are the ones I blame the most.
Have you talked to Tiffany since the season has ended?
Briefly on a few texts, and I had to ask her a few questions that I wanted to get off my back, and that's another thing that I wanted to address is, like, not only are the vets was, to me, they shouldn't have been there because the process is so hard to get on the show, and I feel like they had their opportunity already. That's why I didn't like them. Not that I didn't like them personally. It's just that it's such a hard process to get onto the show, and the sacrifices that you make to get onto the show, and then to have somebody to come back in that's already done it when I know there's thousands of other people that would really love to play this game the way I did. Also, when you had the two siblings, I'm like, two siblings to me wasn't fair either. And they would have been my next ones that I was going to go for because they already knew each other. Tiffany and Paulie already knew each other from being at events, like you said, and once they went in the house, they already knew each other, so they already had one up on them. So everybody who was a newbie pretty much had strikes against them all across the board.
But you had the numbers. Well, they had the numbers.
And the problem was that a lot of these kids got on this show and didn't even watch the show. They didn't even watch the show. Some of them watched one season. I couldn't understand. Why would you cast somebody that doesn't know the show? It didn't make sense to me.
Oh, I have my theories, but that's for another show without you on. But yeah, I think we all have our theories as to why they casted a lot of not super smart people this season, and then vets. As a 38-year-old, I think they needed older people, says Conquer Thyroid Issues in the chat room. Would you like a season with then older, not younger players?
I thought, I want what's going to be best for the show and the best personalities for the show. I think it would be well represented if they had a few 20-somethings, a few 30-somethings, and maybe a few 40-somethings. Just something that's a little more diverse, because I was so out of the loop with these kids. We had nothing almost other than gameplay in common. And I think people, the responses that I've gotten back from people on the streets and mail and tweets and stuff, is that people related to me, or were going to be able to relate to me, because I was more their era. CBS and most casting people forget, I've watched every season. Right. And most people that started from the get, like I did, they're my age now.
Right.
So me watching a show with a bunch of 20-somethings down that they're talking about, stupid crap. I was like, a lot of people are gonna get turned off by that, And I thought maybe by me being a little older guy, even though I blend in with the younger kids and I'm just as stupid as they am at times, people would have related. And if I would have gave some life examples and things I've done, I think the audience would have been a lot more diverse. I guarantee you, from a lot of people that tell me on the street, the minute that I was gone, a lot of people said they turned off their TV, which is sad because the game is still good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel the same exact way. I have to constantly remind myself that I'm watching like young 20-year-olds play this game when I want to like go crazy over something. I have to remind myself that they have no real life lessons yet to.
Like when they asked me, a lot of people asked me, Glenn, why were you doing this show for? And I was like, to get out of debt. Like,
Right.
I'm playing the game because I want to get out of debt. And like, these young kids don't even know what debt is. They still live home with their families. They don't even have any life experiences. And I was like, dude, like, we're playing for so many different reasons. Like, that's why I thought I was really going to have a great shot at this, because like, they don't even know. Like, their lives haven't even begun. and and we were on such different playing fields that I was going to just school these kids.
Right. We live in New York. We need the money.
Yes, definitely.
We have very high property tax. I agree. I say that all the time on this show when everyone always says, "Why don't you play? Why don't you play?" And I say, well, number one, I like my family and friends too much, and number two, nobody would like it if I played, because I would play a very Derek game. Like, I'm there to win. I'm not there to make good TV, to make good feeds. I'm there to win.
Exactly. Listen, the first night they never showed it, and there was no live feeds. I cooked dinner for everybody the first night, and slammed it. Great cook. I mean, the meal was great. It was authentic, homemade. Everybody was loving it. Everybody was jonesing it. The only one guy who knew what I was doing was Frank, and he told me to the side when we were laying down that night in bed. He said, "Dude, no one ever gets rid of the cook. I see you're playing the game." And I said, "You're damn straight I am."
Interesting. And what was it, by the way?
I made a fresh chicken and fresh garlic sauce, Italian sauce, with some pasta, and we put some meat and some chicken and stuff in the pot and the gravy.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great. The whole house smelled beautiful, and people were like loving me to death. I was like, "Ching, another one." I said, I was playing the game the minute I got in the house, and there was so much that was on that no one ever got to see, and I'm like, damn. That's why, because people were saying, why did people connect with you so quick? Why were they? Because I was doing a lot of things, and I was already playing the game.
And I have to say, for the non-Italians out there, and I know people can't believe that I'm half Italian, gravy is another word for sauce.
Sauce, yes. And I'm not even Italian. I'm Puerto Rican.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I'm 100% Puerto Rican. And I grew up in Italian and Irish neighborhood growing up in the 80s and 90s in the Bronx where I live. And I speak Italian almost as good as I speak Spanish. And that's what I ate. So I had the best of both worlds. During the week, I have my rice and beans. And then in the weekends, I have my pasta.
I think CV Jewels says in the chat room, so when are you going to do a cooking show? And I'm going to throw in there, we need like a fusion cooking show. I want like Puerto Rican meets Italian dishes.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever, man. And that's when I was in sequester, that's all I had time to do was cook, man. So like, and you know what it is? And people are like, Glenn, were you a chef? Or no, I was a bachelor for a very long time. And what happens when you're a bachelor, you learn to start cooking better and better because you have to.
I want to see this cooking show. We might need to make this happen. Capricio in the chat room wants to know, what season would you have rather have been on? If you couldn't have been on your season, what season would you like to have played on?
That's a hard one because there's a lot of good seasons that have their good and bad points. So that's really a toss-up question. You know, the season, it's more like I would have wanted to have played with Dan, or if I would have liked to play with Janelle. So those seasons would have been more because I would want to play with them. But I don't think one's better than the other. They all have their high points and their low points.
BB Boston in the chat room says she thinks she would have done well on season 17. And Lady K222 says season 10. She thinks she might have done good on. Yeah. Whose game, Jay Len Martinez wants to know, whose game are you most impressed with in the house right now?
Well, it's gotta be Paul and Victor right now, because everybody else is not really doing much. They're just working with their numbers. Vic, I gave him all the props because he's a comp beast. And believe me, before Paulie blew up, Paulie was another comp beast and had a good social game. Paulie probably had both. Paul has a great social game. Victor is a comp beast. And love him or hate him, Paulie had a little bit of both, which I thought he was going to go for a long way, but then he just blew up. He did, what's her name, who self-imploded last year, the transgender.
Audrey.
Audrey could have done good too if she didn't blow up. So
yeah. Allison XOXO Features wants to know, which house guest, or do you feel any of the house guests this season resemble a game that would be close to how you would have played it?
I don't think anybody. There's a little bit of each one that I would have fused all into things I would have done, because I was into making big game moves, and I was into doing like Natalie flirting when I would have had to flirt, and so I don't think one person in particular. There's just a bunch of them wrapped up, but I think I'm more unique. I would have had my own way to game plan. A lot of people might not have liked it,
right?
But I'm, like you said, I was there to win, so I would have done what I had to have done.
Elena in the chat room, and I'm pretty sure you can answer this, wants to know, how many times have you tried out for Big Brother? Just
time.
One. Wow.
I did it, and the only reason why I did do it, well, I applied for Survivor season 2.
Okay.
And I did pretty well. I got pretty far. And then at the last minute, they cut me and they told me they couldn't. That's when I wasn't active, and I still was a police officer. Last year, I always said I could do it. I don't know if I could do it that long because it's a long show, and because everybody told me I couldn't do it, is why I did it. My mother told me I couldn't do it. My wife told me I couldn't do it. My friends told me I couldn't do it, and their reasonings why. My mother said, you're too much of a flirt. You'll never be able to last. And I was like, I could do it. I could hold it down. My girl told me, you're too hot-headed. You won't be able to hold it in. I was like, I could do it. Just because everybody told me I couldn't do it, the minute the season finale went out and they said, if you think you got what it takes, I went right down to this computer right now, typed it in, did a 20-second video like they said, and all the magic started from there.
Now, speaking of flirting, I have another serious question from New Jersey Girl in the chat room.
Okay.
And she wants to know, if you had been the one to stay and Corey was the one who was evicted, do you think you and Nicole would have had a showmance? Never.
Not my time. Never. She definitely wouldn't have.
I'm pretty sure, I hope she was joking. Her real question is, are you surprised with how long Victor has lasted since his battle back return?
Yeah, because they're stupid, and that works in Vic's favor, because they should have went right back for him. He's a beast in the comps. Like, why are you keeping this kid around? Listen, as much as I like the kid, I would have, the first minute I had opportunity to cut his throat, I would have cut it. How can you keep this dude around? I don't understand.
Blonde Bombshell wants to know, did you tell the house guests that you were a retired police officer?
Nope.
No, you didn't.
Nope.
You said that
I was a dog groomer, and that's all they knew. I cleaned ass for a living.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's why. So when Tiffany first thing Tiffany got back to me when we texted each other, she was like, I knew it. I knew you weren't, that you had to be some kind of law enforcement. And I was like, but I'm not lying. I've had a dog grooming business for a long time now. So I didn't lie. I just held back what I did in my prior life.
Privy for Rose in the chat room says that the house guests didn't think that you were a dog groomer and that you did have to, like, there had to be something more to you. They weren't buying dog groomer when they talk about it on the feeds.
Yeah, I seen some of the feeds, and I seen some of them talk about it too. Some of them thought I was something to do with the firemen and the fire chiefs and some other things, but they were wrong.
If you, I see this from a lot of people in the chat room, if you were dropped into the house right now, they're like, all right, Glenn, wish granted, you're back in. What is your game plan? Who are you going to try and align with?
Oh, a line? Oof. Right now, this is a slippery slope because so many people could be. I probably since I had a great relationship with Paul and Vic, it would probably have to be them right away because they would trust me and they would know me from the jump. So probably Paul and Vic. Natalie was a sweetheart too, and we clicked really well too. Wasn't a fan of James, so he would have been somebody I would have been targeting.
You can plead the fifth and not answer this one if you want. Star Princess wants to know, what pays more money, being a police officer or a dog groomer?
Being a cop, there's a lot more overtime.
Really?
Grooming dogs is more of a passion, something that you like to do. You're never going to get rich from it.
As somebody who is married to an NYPD police officer, I would say I would have guessed dog groomer.
I would say narcotics detective.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It's a lot more drugs on the street than regular crimes.
Sam Colin wants to know, did you see any of the comps this season that you felt you would have really liked to have played that comp, or you could have totally won that comp?
Almost every comp other than a balance comp.
Okay.
I would have done well in. I had stamina, I had strength, I said 2 balance competitions back to back. And let me tell you something, if you heard it on the feeds, there was some of the feeds that they were sitting there on talking, and they asked Corey, and Corey even said, and Nicole have said, that coconut challenge was the hardest challenge they did all year. That challenge was hard. Right. And that challenge was hard because it wasn't geared towards big dudes like us. Because I would move to the left or to the right, and that thing would just bottom out. You see how quick the girls that were light, they could fly right through it. But any other challenge, even then the thing with Jose with the battle back, another balance thing. I'm like, come on, guys, you couldn't give me something better. Like, it annoyed me. The next battle back against Victor would bounce in the balls. I'm athletic. I play a lot of sports. I used to play a lot of sports. I could have done so many other challenges that I would have done so well, but balance was not my thing.
Balance, yeah, I don't think I would do good at balancing either. How did you, Puppy Glitter says, you keep mentioning Jose and Victor. Why did you gravitate towards them when you were in the house, or what is it about them that made you feel like you wanted to work with them in this game?
Well, their personalities were above and beyond. I'm that type of guy that I like that, but I also wanted to be that person that they're going to have. I was already playing the game. So, like, Paul and Victor and Jose. Very loud, very high-strung, and people were always looking at them and gravitating to them. So I would have been like, when back in the days or whenever, used to go out with, it's a bad example to use, but I was going to be the person that was going to be their sidekick and let all the drama gravitate to them, and I'd just be the one sitting back and just letting it roll, I had pretty much control of them. I was pretty much telling them things because a lot of them didn't know much of the game, so I would have told this one when to say this one to say that, and let everything focus their way, and me just sit back and just let it implode. So they were high-strung, great personalities, and I liked that because it was taken away from me, so it was weird. It's hard to really explain it if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Like Paul would tell me sometimes, you look at me and I give him the, lower it, take it down a little bit. Or Jose, and I'd be like, all right, relax, and, they were listening to me and they were doing things. So I was like, perfect. So like in, the Game of Thrones, I said, I would have been the mother of dragons and they would have been my dragons. And I would have just sent them out to do my biddings. And then I would have reeled them in when I had to.
Right. And to go back to what you said before in that coconut challenge, I'm going to use it to remind everybody that number one fan this show is getting an autographed coconut from Glenn. And so far, it is you, Gloria MM11. Let me ask you, I'm trying to see, we have so many questions. I'm trying to pick ones that I think are what the most that people are going to want to know. Whose gameplay were you most surprised by? Evelyn F. wants to know.
From watching it, most surprised?
Yes.
Most surprised. Corey. I'm surprised that he's just dead wood, that he's not playing anything at all. From the way he battled against me and the way he talked a big game when I was in the house, I thought he was going to be a beast. I thought he was going to be the victor. I didn't think Victor would be doing what he did. I thought he was going to be the stud, the guy who's going to win all the competitions, and all the girls liked him. And the first day, so many girls were flirting him. Everybody wanted him. So I thought he was going to be it. And when I seen what he's turned into, it's like, it's disappointing.
Do you think that it's strategy for him though?
No, I think it's just dumb.
I do too. Wesley Lester wants to know, is there anything about the other house guests, and I'm going to change the question a little bit. Is there anything about the other house guests that you were surprised to learn now that you're out of the house?
And I'm surprised to learn. You mean the pre-jury people that are out?
Anybody from this season? Is there anything?
Everybody pretty much said what they were. Like, Natalie said what she was an event coordinator and she was cheerleader. I knew she had to be doing something like that. Victor, what he said. Paul, no. Paul, maybe Paul, because I knew he was intelligent, but I didn't know he was that intelligent. I didn't know that what he studied and what his degrees and what he interned in and stuff like that, and the businesses that he has. That impressed me a little bit. But other than that, not really.
Chris R. wants to know, if you could pick a returning player to play on your season, you're forced to, who would you pick to play?
If I was the returning person?
No, if they said, Glenn, we're bringing back a returning player on this season, we're letting you pick the person we bring back, who would you pick?
You mean to return with me?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good one. To make it interesting, I don't know. Maybe I would say either Paul or Jose.
Really?
Yeah, because I already know them. I know what I could do with and without them. And I think that, like I said before, they would be such a focal point that it would take away from me being any kind of a threat.
A lot of people want to know, I know we said Tiffany before, but are you in touch with any of the other house guests from any of the pre-jury people? Are you in touch with them?
Well, a few. I've briefly chatted with Tiffany, but Jose and Bronte, those are my ride or dies. They've been real cool, and I've been pretty in touch with them. So
no Frank.
No, Frank, I reached out to once, and that's all you're going to get. If he doesn't want to talk to me, then no problem. I tried. I reached out on Twitter. I sent him a message or something else, and he hasn't responded. So, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I thought he was a good guy in the house, and I would have, but maybe he's just getting on with his life. Who knows? I'll see him at finale, so it's up to him. But I liked Frank. I had no problem with him, but he hasn't reached out.
I will say we are in the same boat. So you know what, everybody? You should tweet Frank if you want to see him on this show and say, hey, Frank, we want you on Reality Recap Show. And while you're at it, text Glenn back, will you? No, don't say that. But
what I have is a lot of alum has reached out, and I've spoken to a lot of them, and they were pretty cool. So, and that was nice.
Who is your favorite alumni to talk to?
Adam, a great guy. Johnny Mack was a great guy. I've spoken to Steve. I've spoken to the twins. I've spoken to, a lot of them, not spoken verbally, so, either chat or text and stuff like that. Who else? There's been a few. that just reached out.
Did Jody? Yeah, did Jody?
and there's a few. There's been a lot of them, and gave me words of encouragement, support, things they thought, oh, what to expect, what not to expect. Because when you come out, it is pretty a little overwhelming, especially in my case, and everybody wants to know certain things, and having the gag order on, it's hard.
Right.
Not because you want to get out and you want to speak to people and you want to tell them what you can tell. So I'm glad that this came about.
I'm never the one to be shady or say anything behind anybody's back, but I'm going to let you in on a secret.
Okay.
I don't think he'll be too mad at me. So I was watching the premiere episode with Adam, and I specifically remember him turning to me and saying, I can't wait till Glenn gets out of the house. I'm going to give him so much shit.
Yeah, so I guess he'll get to tell me soon in person. But he's been a great guy since I've been out also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, let me ask you this. Wesley Lester wants to know, with not being in the house that long, what is the one thing the house guests and the people at home didn't learn about you that you wish we had?
That I could be a really, really funny guy, that I'm a big-time prankster. So when I saw James, I said, all right, it's going to be a battle of who could be a bigger prankster, and I was ready to take him on that battle. But he's a prankster that's an idiot. Like, he does things that are stupid. Like, you don't do things with food, especially when you're on rations and stuff like that. But I like to have a good time. I could be the biggest jokester around. And we were having a lot of laughs in the house, and I think that would have came over great because you would have saw more of my personality in the house.
Everybody wants us to do this, and we are getting closer to our wrap-up time. So I'm going to use our graphic from last week, so it's nothing with spoilers. People want to know your word association or first impression. Basically, just keep it short. So I'm going to give you house guests, and you can say whatever you think about them as short as possible. Got it?
You want it as from the time I was in there or now?
Now. We want your current, up-to-date feelings on the house guests.
Yes.
So, first up is Devon.
Devon. Outspoken.
Zakia.
Ultimate floater.
Whoa. Jose.
Boisterous.
Paul.
Crazy.
Okay, that wraps up Big Sister. Let's move over to Category 4 team. Frank.
Nice guy. Good guy.
Bridget.
Bubbly.
Oh, Michelle.
Space cadet.
And Paulie.
Paulie was just Jersey boy.
Jersey boy. All right, over to Team Unicorn. James.
Boring.
I love it. Bronte.
Sweetheart.
Victor.
Cool guy.
And Natalie.
Another sweetheart.
And last, the team you love, Freakazoids, Nicole.
Man, Nicole. I pass.
I'm going to go with Wet Noodle. Corey.
Corey, dumb jock.
Tiffany.
Tiffany was another. She's a basket case.
And Glenn. What did you think of Glenn?
I think Glenn is a good dude, man. I just wish you guys could have seen a little bit more of him.
There is so much. I want all of you guys to be friends, and I will say it. I say it to everybody all the time when you guys come on. I guarantee you're all going to be best friends by Christmas.
Like I told everybody, even though if anyone would have cut my throat, I would have cut their throat. I would hope that everybody understands that it's a game, and we're at finale. Bygones be bygones, and even if there are some people, I'll try to be the peacemaker and try to make people make up because it is a game, and you can't take things too much to heart. Life is too short, so you gotta enjoy it while you can.
Exactly. All right, so here's what I want to do. If you guys don't want to know spoilers, I want us to talk spoilers for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so, and then we need to wrap it up. But if you guys don't want to hear spoiler stuff, you're gonna want to get going. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're spoiling. Okay, Glenn. We know this week at the moment we have Natalie and Michelle as HOH and co-HOH. Big Meech won America's Care Package. Victor and Paul were the noms. Natalie put up Victor and Michelle put up Paul, but Paul ended up winning the POV. Now, you were saying you loved Paul's game and you thought Paul had a chance to go far, but as we found out last night, the couples want to stick together and get Paul or Victor out.
Well, how can they get Paul if you got POV?
Paul, they wanted to get Paul or Victor, but now that Paul has POV, they're going to go for Victor.
Yeah. So, yeah, I could understand it in a standpoint that, one, he was out already, and two, he's a beast in the comps. But and Paul, I don't know. I'm not happy with it because I think it's pretty dumb. I would hope Paul and Victor can try to flip it so they backdoor either Corey or James. I would love them to backdoor James. And I don't think Natalie would go for it. But if he gets the votes and he gets people to flip the way they are, I would love it because he's boring as hell and he's just floating his way through a showmance. And I just think he's too manipulative of Natalie, and she's not even playing her own game. So, who knows? Hopefully they can work something so they can backdoor somebody in their favor.
To be fair, Natalie wouldn't have a vote if they could get James on the block.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It would be good, and she would be pissed, but what can she do? Without him, she's lost. As sweet as she is, and much as I like her, I think it would be a great move to get rid of James because right now he's the one telling Corey and Nicole what to do, and he's like pretty much acting like he's the dictator and he's nothing. So hopefully Paul does what he has to do with Victor, and maybe they could get Meech and do what they have to do.
We will see. I really hope that some sort of a miracle gets pulled out this week, because if we are left with showmances at the final 4 of this season, it is just going to be the final nail in the coffin of the season.
Yeah, it'd be hard. It's not even that they're not even exciting couples. Like if it was a good couple that was exciting,
right? And
every couple is so one-sided. One does all the other talking, the other person just sits there going, It's like it's stupid. It's not even like they're tag teaming. Let's do this. So I don't know what I want to do. What do you want to do? What do I want to do? What do you want to do? Like, come on, grow a pair and get out there and become an individual. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to chop somebody's head off anyway. So just do it now.
Right. I agree. I completely agree. I mean, I don't know how much longer you're waiting. We're at what? Final 7?
If Vic gets eliminated, it's gonna be good for TV because it's gonna be him against Paulie, and that's gonna be great. And whoever comes back is gonna turn shit around too. So it's gonna be good for TV. But I would like to still see Paulie and Vic in there and let Corey battle Paulie, and then it's bromance that they have. Oh, I don't want you win. How boring that's gonna be. But Paulie should come back, stir it up, and it'll be at least good for the next few weeks. But
Who do you think will win the battle back, or however they're doing it? Who do you think has the best chance of getting back in the game right now?
Well, Paulie is definitely a favorite, depending on who goes in. If it's Vic, then it's a 50-50 shot. I think that's it. The only person I think that if Vic gets evicted, he could beat Paulie to get back in. If not, Paulie's coming back.
As long as it's not a crapshoot.
Yeah.
So let's all fingers crossed, hoping it's not a crapshoot, especially if Victor goes home this week, because I think if it's not, Victor could make it back in this house. I hope it's something where, like, they get to also at the same time play for HOH, nominate James and Nicole, and break this up already.
At least put one of each. Put James and Corey up,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Corey would be a smarter choice than Nicole.
Because he's still, when he does step it up a little bit, those last, that HOH and that veto competition, he's still got some game. He's still physically fit. He still could do some stuff, you know what I mean? Like what annoyed me in my coconut challenge, I had to climb 4 steps to get a coconut. He was just grabbing them, reaching them, and putting them down. You know, like he's a big dude. He's really in good shape. You know.
Right. Well, Glenn, we need to wrap this show up, but I hope, Glenn, that you are going to come back on. I hope you will talk more Big Brother with us as this season goes on. You have tons of fans. I'm going to give you a full screen, so hold on. Okay, I am giving you full screen. The floor is yours. What do you want to say to all of your fans that are here watching you?
I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and getting to hear a little bit of my story. I'm probably on this show longer than I was on most of the shows on TV. But I appreciate all the love and all the support you guys have been giving me. It's really, really heartfelt. From a regular guy like me, it means the world to me. And I wish that I could have been on the show more, because I think you guys would have got a kick out of me. And you know what? I would love to shock America and CBS and win American Fan Favorites, or get the opportunity to hopefully maybe get back another year. So if you got to vote, give one out for your boy from New York, and I'd appreciate it. But I love y'all.
Now, where can the people find you on social media, Glenn? We have your Twitter right here, which is Glenn, at GlennNBX. Are you on Instagram, Snapchat, any of those other places?
On Twitter, it's Glenn with 3 N's.
Okay.
GLNNBX.
Okay.
On Instagram, it's Glenn with 2 N's, BX.
Okay.
And on Snapchat, I don't use it much. I think it's Glenn BX10. It's always Glenn BX. The only one is Twitter with 3 N's. The other ones are all with 2 N's.
And that's what we have. And we will put the links below this show as well. I don't know how happy Glenn is going to be to hear this, but let me say 2 last things. Remember, go check out YourRealityRecaps.com/Amazon Video. There's only a week left to do that to help us out. And Tiffany is also live right now on YouNow if you want to go check out Tiffany's show. I have to go do a patron show, so I'm going to go hang out with the patrons now. Glenn, are you going to be watching Big Brother live tonight and tweeting it?
I'll be watching it with my whole family. We're BB fanatics, so yeah, I'll be watching.
So you guys got lots of choices. Live tweet with Glenn, go hang out with Tiffany on YouNow, tell her we said hi if you do, or patrons. I'm going to be starting patron show in about 30 minutes. We will see you guys all later. Thanks so much, Glenn. Bye, everybody.
Hey, just kidding, I love you.